Hi guys, welcome back to the second part of my reverse parking maneuver that we mentioned in the last video, and we're going to be giving you a demonstration on how it would be done and how I actually teach my pupils to do it. It's normally a 4-stage process. I break the maneuver down to 4 turns. I explain the observations in it and the control and the space besides the vehicle, how much distance you need to be. Every instructor has his own way of teaching it, and we use a guideline for beginner drivers. As you all know, they need that little bit of a reference point. I choose not to have too many reference points because it becomes of a task remembering them. I'm going to be keeping it as simple as possible, and over the years that I've been an instructor, I've realized that a lot of my pupils, they like my method. So I'm going to give you a demonstration now. I have a vehicle parked in front of me. I'm going to pull up beside it, parallel to it, and I'm going to reverse park on this vehicle, not exceeding 2 car spaces. Now, it's important to remember the 2 car spaces they want is 1 car between you and the parked vehicle. The second car would be yourselves. Okay, so I'm about to start the vehicle, fastening my seatbelt, and in a driving test they will always park you before the car they choose. They wouldn't take you directly up to the vehicle. As you all know, when we're teaching, sometimes we do go directly up to the car. They will ask you to pull up in a safe and convenient place on the left, and then they would ask you to parallel reverse park on the vehicle ahead, not exceeding more than 2 car spaces in your own time when you feel you're ready. So you would be parked up. Now, the important thing is when you're parking up beside the vehicle, you need to remember not to get too close to the car, as they will not let you carry the maneuver out. You need adequate clearance away from the vehicle. As you pull out, you're pulling out at an angle as well, and you don't want to be getting close to the car, and that comes down to your biting point and clutch control. A lot of pupils do tend to lift the clutch before they turn. The vehicle only moves forward, and that's where your biting point and dipping the clutch down, controlling the slow movement. Walking pace is based on clutch control movement, and it's important to make sure you're doing all your checks as you move off as normal, which comes under moving off safely. So your blind spot checks are important on this maneuver. Just a quick talking through it. I'm going to go park beside it, and as I park beside it, I will use the left indicator to say that I'm going to be pulling up next to this vehicle. I'm going to select reverse gear, and then before you do any maneuver, you have a 360 degrees observation check, which is all around central check, and then you begin the maneuver when there is nothing approaching you. If there is anything approaching you within 10 yards of either side of the road, you need to pause and check if the vehicle is going to stay stationary to let you carry on with your maneuver. If not, you would have to wait. Unless you are blocking the road, then they would wait and you would carry on. However, as you leave them enough space, they may go again, so be aware of that and pause again, as this is important in a test. Okay, I'm about to do this maneuver, and I'll talk through my actions as I'm going to go along. So selecting first gear, mirrors checked, blind spot signal, and I'm about to park beside the vehicle. I'm lifting my clutch to biting point, and I'm just on the biting point, dipping the clutch slowly. As I'm pulling beside the vehicle, I'm looking ahead. Important to look ahead and in your mirrors to signal. And I've given the vehicle a car door length clearance, which is important. As you pull up beside it, a lot of people tend to look at the vehicle. It's best to look ahead so you can straighten your car up, and then that way your whole maneuver will be, depending on how it's being taught, the reference points, it will work out a lot better. Okay, so now I'm selecting reverse gear, so I'm preparing myself for the maneuver, and I've prepared the vehicle. Now I'm about to do my observation, which is going to be a full 360 check. Right blind spot, left blind spot, general look all around, in the mirrors also, and I start to begin to reverse. Now I keep my car straight and I reverse back until my seatbelt or the B post of a vehicle or the front passenger seat is at the end of the vehicle. Once I approach that, spot, I stop my car, and that would be the first turning reference point. This is how I teach it, and you will do a full left lock at this point. So once you've done the full left lock, important point to be noted, very important, is your right blind spot check, because your vehicle is going to move out into the road from the front and it will be blocking the road, and you want to be checking if there's any vehicles, pedestrians, anybody coming out of a driveway, for example, in your blind spot. Once I've done that, I'm on the clutch biting point, I'm moving the vehicle slowly, and I'm going to be taking my door mirror to the end of the vehicle. Once I've got that point, I will stop there and take the turn off. This now gives me a 45 angle along with the vehicle that I'm reverse parking on. The 45 angle is a good one, because if you keep the lock on and going, it's going to be too difficult, and they do allow you to park in 2 vehicle spaces, so you don't need to be doing it too close to the vehicle. So coming on in on a 45 angle is good. Doing a right blind spot check, and then I'm starting to move the vehicle back. I'm looking in the back window, also looking in the mirror, and checking generally and keeping the vehicle as slow as possible by maintaining the biting point, clutch control, and dipping the clutch. My third reference I normally tell people is to overlap the front door handle just onto the curb edge. As I approach that, that would be my turning point to the right, and it would be a right turn. This is the third stage. The first stage was when the pillar gets there, you do a left lock. When the door mirror gets to the end, you do a right turn, so you're taking the left lock off, and then as your door handle approaches the curb, you're doing a right lock. Blind spot check, and I'm reversing back slowly and looking in the back. Also looking at the vehicle, that gives me a clue if my car's straightening up. And then as the car starts to come in, I start to take the turn off. And then I move back maybe just a few feet, and I stop, pause, and that would be the parallel reverse parking done. 4 to 6 inches away from the curb is adequate. They don't want you to park too close to the curb in case you touch the curb or scrape the tire, which would result in a fail in most cases. So here I've reverse parked on this vehicle, not exceeding more than 2 car gaps, one in between me and the vehicle in front. 4-stage process. I pulled up beside the vehicle, my B-posts or front seatbelt to the end of the vehicle. I did the first turn, which was a left turn. Then I checked my blind spot, which is the observation part, absolutely necessary. Then as I reversed back to my door mirror, the front passenger left door mirror reached the end of the car, I stopped, took my turn back off to the central point, making the vehicle straight, and then checking the right blind spot again. Then I've reversed back until my door handle on my front passenger door overlaps the curb slightly. This is the reference points I teach my pupil, however it may vary from instructor to instructor. And I stopped, did a right lock turn, and checked my blind spot also, and started to move the vehicle in, looking in the back, looking at the car in front, so that gives you an idea your car straightening up, looking in the door mirror to make sure it doesn't touch the curb. And then as it straightens up, I've turned back to the left, which is the 4th turn, and then I've gone back just a few feet, leaving 1 car space in between. So you have 4 turns, which are, the first turn is a left lock, then it's a right turn taking the lock off, then it's when you approach near the curb, it's a right lock again for the front end of the car to come in, and the closing turn is a left turn. So you have opening turn left, right, right, then the last turn, closing turn left. So left, right, right, and left, depending on how people teach it. This is how I would teach it, and it is a good 4-step process, and you always get this result. Hope you liked that video. If you did, hit the like, subscribe, comment in the box below. Stay tuned for my next video.